Hey, this is Ronald. Today I want to talk about what I think is the absolute best free video editor on the market. It's open source. It's called Kdenlive. I do editing tutorials in Premiere, DaVinci Resolve, CapCut, Shotcut, OpenShot, Blender, you name it. For a free video editor, this thing is phenomenal. It runs on almost anything. It's extremely easy to use. Also, you can install this on a USB drive. You don't have to install this on your hard drive. Go to kdenlive.org, click on the download link, and as you can see, it works in Windows, it works in Linux, and it works on a Mac. So download this, install it, and I'll give you a basic understanding of how to use the program. But remember, for you to really get a grip on it, you're going to have to just start using it. Okay, without further ado, let's pop the hood and go inside and see what we have. When you first open up Kdenlive, this is what you'll see. The first thing we want to do is go up here to settings, and we can look through this and change some of that, but I want to go down to configure keyboard shortcuts, and here I can change my shortcuts. Let's go down to configure Kdenlive. Go through all of this, but the main things that concern me are number one, project defaults, and I can change this as I go along, but once I'm in project defaults, I want to customize where my files are saved. I'm going to put them on my D drive. Then I want to go down here and create a standard resolution for my videos. If I want to go vertical, I can scroll down here and click on the arrow going to the right under custom, go to the bottom, and here I have two options for vertical videos. And you can change all this stuff if you want as well. And then the other thing I want to do is make sure I go over here to proxy clips and enable proxy clips. I'm going to make mine 720, but make it whatever you want. 640 is fine if you have an even older system. Change it to 640, but when it renders, it's going to render at 1080p. Apply that and click OK. The last part of setup that I want to go over would be cleaning up your cache files. Go over here and then manage cached data. And you'll see this. Delete those and have them auto clean up wherever you want, because these files build up, especially if you use a lot of proxy files. You can go through those other setting options if you like. I'm sure there's videos out there on them, but those are the things that I want to do right away. Now, let's go over the menu really quick. These are the 4 default layouts inside Kdenlive. We have lodging, which looks like that. I never use that. We have editing, which I use all the time. Then we have audio. If you just want to work on audio. Then you have the effects module, is what I call it. And lastly, we have color correction or color grading. And there are a lot of different options there, but we're going to spend most of our time in the editing module. So let's go back over here. There are several menus, as you can see. First, I'm going to bring in an asset. You can just drag it in or go up here and add clip or folder. We can add color here, grab it and drag it and bring it in like this, or we can bring it up here. We have 2 windows. Our preview window is over here, preview window, and our regular window. To change that, we can go up to view. And here we can disable different things like our project monitor, for example. Let's go back and bring that back in. Click on this, it'll pop back up. And of course, this is our timeline. We'll start with this, the normal timeline. We can scrub it like that. We can hold down Control Command and scroll up and down on the mouse. We'll get that. Slide this back over like that. If we hold Alt, if we go down here and click on this button here, we'll fit everything into the timeline. Let's do it again. Click on this button here. Minimize or maximize the timeline. Bring that back in if we get lost. Over here we can lock it, turn it off, disable the clip. Here we can disable any type of effects on the clip. If we click here, we can minimize the size or height of the clip. Double click here, we can change the name of the clip. and just your basic timeline. If we go down here, we're in Edit Composition, and this is called the Composition. The audio mixer is right there. If we're doing speed ramping, this will be visible, and then we can have multiple subtitles. If I go up here, hold your mouse over and see what some of this does. My favorites are all right here, and they give you these by default. We use transform a lot. This will be color correction. And here I can keyframe audio, like in audio ducking. And then over here, inserting clip, mix clip, things like that. Ripple tool, cutting tools, spacers, razor tool, selection tool. You have to play around with this. And over here we have different options too. We can go down frame by frame. We can hide show edit mode, play reverse, play reverse. Here I can just type Control I and have an in point and then an out point in my preview screen. So when I brought this down, there's my in, and then I can drag it down and then have my out point and then just bring that down. You know how that works. If you have a slow system or an older system, you can change a resolution here. 1:1 is going to be 1080p. I can change that there. I can right click on the video, and if I want to separate the audio from the video, I can do that here. So now I'll have two separate tracks, but down here they are still connected or grouped. If I press Control or Command plus Shift plus G as in good, I can ungroup them or group them together. Hold Shift, select both of them, right click and go up to Group or Ungroup. Let's group them, and now they move together. When we have a clip up, this will be our project bin right here with our files. Our compositions are everything from dissolves to compositing, transitions. That's everything. Over here we have effects. The hamburger gives us all of our effects. If I just want video, click on this. Now we just have video. There's always a drop-down menu. And there's a lot to play with. If I just want audio, click on that. Templates, they give you some templates. Favorites, these are the ones that they give you. Color correction, transform is used a lot. Then we have keyframeable volume. This is for audio ducking and things like that. Up here we just have file, new, open, save, save as. Then we have edit and then view, and this determines what you view and don't want to view over here. Full screen mode is Control or Command plus Shift plus F as in Frank. Project. On the project I can render. Control or Command plus Return. Here's our project settings, and this may change on a per project basis. You can also do this before you render. Tools, ripple, things like that. Replace clip. Timeline stuff. You might want to look at some of this stuff. I just want to let you see what's in each menu real quick. Give you an idea. Again, configure. Here's where you can configure Kdenlive. Toolbars, things like that. And help is right there. Up here, I can bring in text right here. Color changes or a few things from right here. Color tags. I can sort my videos up here. And these are all my different color tag options. This is my composition area, which is here. Audio mixer, composition. When I do keyframing, this will be populated and I can have multiple subtitles. At the very bottom here, we can show color tags. We can show video thumbnails, audio thumbnails, things like that. You can check that out. Here, I can fit that. I can go smaller or larger. If I hold Control or Command and scroll up, I'll get that. If I scroll down, I'll get this. If I hold Alt and scroll up, I'll get that. Down, I'll get that. Now we can go down here and click on this button to fit this to our timeline. Okay, I want to spend a minute going over all the stuff over here. There's a lot. If I just go to video and I go to the drop down menu, these are all the things you can do. Transparency, you name it. I can do masking here. Here's what we can do here. Color correction, brightness, contrast. Anything you're looking for, it's right here. Saturation, white balance. If you're looking for curves, it's right there. You can generate a few things like a draw box, denoiser for your videos, stabilization, image correction. And everything is dropped onto a video. They'll start stacking up over here like layers. Motion, fade in, fade out, freeze. We can also do motion tracking. I'll show you that. Color effects, glow, transform, crop, borders, rotate, zoom in, transform, transpose. We can also flip videos. I can hit Control or Command Z to undo what I just did. And there's a lot you can do in this program, especially for it to be free. There's different things you can do. If I go to audio, bring down one thing at a time. So if you just want to work on panning, for example, your audio, you can do that. And that's going to be there. You can do that. And that's there. Left pan, right pan. You just have to get used to what all these things do. And then add them to your favorites. Here's your volume and dynamics. Normalize audio. Here's your keyframeable audio up and down for like audio ducking. So just play around with this. And now let's go and start playing around with some different videos. We'll bring in this video, bring them both into view. And this is what we have. And this is in my effect composition window. When you want to cut a video, just press Shift plus R as in red. And that's how you cut. Or you can use the scissors tool right there. You can also extend the clip or cut a clip the same way by just bringing it in or extending it out. And what I also did was move things around a little bit so I can grab anything and just move it anywhere I want. And I also resized things like that. If I want to do in and out cuts, I can drag this down like that and do an in and then do an out. And if I brought that down to my timeline, that's all I would have. Overlapping videos is pretty simple. Right click on the video. And here I can insert a transition. Once I insert a transition like this, and I come over here to the right, these are my properties for that. I can change it to a number of different things, as you can see. The length of the transition is going to be how much these two videos or these two tracks overlap. If I want it longer, I'll just bring it down and move my transition down. But again, I can change it. This is a dissolve, a non-dissolve. I can also do a few things here with it, but that's how transitions work. Just here's some examples of what you can do. So just play around with these. But there are so many you can play around with. You can play around with the options you have down here. You can click on this. Just grab the end and drag it down, or fade it in or fade it out. And the same thing applies to music. Just grab the end and bring it in. So now I'm going to fade in the video and the audio. I like how simple. I can type in fade. I'll drop it on the clip like that. So now I have a fade in, fade out. I can fade to black on that by checking that. Fade in, here's my fade out. because we had that up here. So I can change that as well down here. And just play around with this. Keep in mind that these things stack up like layers, like in a graphic design program. So whatever's on top is going to be executed first. So if you're trying to create a special effect, just make sure that you move things in the right order. And you can also group them and link things together. So keep that in mind. And there are lessons out there on that. Let's talk about compositing. If I stack two clips up, right click on this clip and go down to insert a composition and go to composite. Now I'll get this over here to the right. I can also keyframe compositing and have it slowly come in. If I click on the drop down menu, I have multiply, screen, overlay, whatever I want. I can also change the opacity down here, positioning, and I have different options here. I need to lower the volume on this video clip. It's too loud. So I'll click over here on audio mixer. Here's my master volume, and here's different channels. I can lower all of this. If I want to add text to this, I can go up here to this drop down menu, and then I can add title clip, and that's my text. I can change, of course, the font of the text. The font will change that to something like that. We can have a background as well, animation in start viewpoint, how it comes in. I can align the text in the center, and we can make it 300%. Move it in the middle like that. And we can change a few things down here as well, but we can come down, we can have an outline to this. We can make it white and make this 10. We can have a gradient, solid color, bold, different things like that, alignment. We can drop a shadow on this, make it 10 over here. We can have a typewriter effect if we want, and do a few different things with it, line by line, character by character, and create the title. Drag that title down and place it anywhere we want. Double click on that to edit it again. And here, if it gets choppy, make it 720. You can also make that fade out. And you can bring down any other elements you want to bring down here. Like I can type in, for example, glow. And I can pop a glow on that. Then that'll pop up over here. And I can change the threshold of my glow just to have fun. This is how you bring in text or a title. Let's talk about color correction and color management a little bit. I am not a colorist, but click on your video. Go over to effects, and there are a lot of different color options. So if I just type in color, I'll get all of these color options. Advanced color selection, chroma key, color and color correction right here. I can apply a LUT. I can go down here and bring in levels and just drop them in. I can go get curves if I want, drop those in, color levels. And as you can see, they'll start to stack up down here. So I can play with my curves on the video. Here's gamma and gain. I can play with my color. Here's your lift, gamma, and gain. And you can change that if you want. Tint, saturation, it's all right here. If I want to have a LUT, I can apply a LUT. And here's some different kind of LUTs that are built in. Green tint, blue tint. Here's color contrast. And just start playing with it. Masking in Kdenlive is done just like most video editors, except the terminology is a little bit different. For example, rotoscoping masks are best for more detailed masking, where I can go around something, left click, and then right click to connect. And if I make this subtract, almost like inversion, then as you move along, you can hide text and things like that. Then we have alpha shapes, and here I can just use a square or an ellipse like that. I can also use mask apply, So if I'm using the alpha shape, for example, now I can click on this under Mask Apply, click on the eye, and it will show me what I'm doing so far. Bring down this soup here. Let's move these around. I can grab it and flush this out. Not going to be perfect here, but that's how that kind of mask would apply. Very feathered on the edges. So what I can do is go over here under Transition Width and just bring it in to make that line a little bit harder. And there's other variables here as well, but that will look like this now. So there's a lot of ways you can mask. Before we get started with keyframing, you want to make sure that you change your keyframe interpolation from linear to smooth. So if I start a keyframe like this, I can click on this icon right here, my keyframe interpolation, and then I can change that from linear to smooth. You can also play around with these options right here. Let's talk about changing speeds and speed ramping. To change speeds, right click on the video, go up to change speed, and here I can change the speed. Slow it down, make it faster, change the pitch compensation, and reverse the clip. If I wanted speed ramp, right click on the clip, go up to time remap. Now you'll see this. These are keyframes. Previous keyframe, next keyframe, add a keyframe. So I can scroll my timeline like this. Take it down to where I want to start, maybe speeding the clip up, maybe about right there. Click on add a keyframe. Go down more, add another keyframe. We'll add one more. If this is selected, everything moves together. For example, if I grab this keyframe and move it toward the first one, see how everything moves together? This is going to speed everything up. That slows everything down. And this will move accordingly, as you can see. We'll take this off so every keyframe can move independently. Now let's grab this one, move it closer to this one. That's going to speed that up. Then we'll grab this one and move it away from this one. That's going to slow down. Let's see what that looks like. We'll preview that right here. Speeds up. And now it should slow down. That's how you speed ramp. And here I'm in my time remapping module, so to speak. So that's how that works. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about camera shake. Drop in the transform tool. Then go to effects right here. And here's transform. Or I can just type trans F up here and drop it down. It's at the point where he hits the ground, right? Just go back one. Now what I'm going to do here is bring in a keyframe that's right here. Click on that. He's there. Right here on impact, make this a little bit bigger. Let's make it 120. There's my keyframe. And we're going to make this go down. Now go down to the y-axis. We're going to change that from -108 to -98. Then move over one frame. Then go back down and add another keyframe. Go back down to the y-axis and change it from 98 to 88. Move over another frame. Go back and add another keyframe. And now we're going to change the y-axis from 88 to 98. I'm going to do the same thing in increments of 10. Move over, add a keyframe, do what you want to do. That's how keyframing works. So we're going to go from 108, 98, 88, going down. Then we're going to go back up, 98, 108, and then go up to 118, and then back down to 108. If you want to be more aggressive, you can go in increments of 20. Or 30 if you want to be more violent with it. You can also just move it around randomly. Keep that in mind as well. I call this a mild camera shake. I know that's not the right sound for that video. I just wanted to insert something in there. If you have a background and a separate image or anything else or text, you want to make sure that they both shake at the same time. They're going to shake differently as well, but what you could do is copy the effects from the first one you create the shake for to the second one, and then alter those keyframes a little bit, alter the timing, things like that. Convert a 16:9 by 9:16. What if I want to also animate this a little bit and throw in some keyframes? So what I'll do is bring the video clip down, go up to Project, come down to Project Settings. Now it's 4K. Go down to Custom. Now go all the way down to the bottom, and we're going to make this vertical HD 30 frames per second. And press OK. Are we sure? Continue? Yes. We have to save this for it to work, so go ahead and save it. Now, as you can see, it's going to convert my project to a vertical format. Now what I can do is drop a transform down, and remember, when you like an element over here, make sure you make it one of your favorites. Right click beside it, and I'll see Add to Favorites. That way you can access anything you want right here. Go down to right here where it says Fit to Height. Now that's going to change. Because it is in transform mode, I can just grab it and slide it over to where I want this to start. And then right here, say I want to animate this. Say I want it to pan left and pan right. Pretty easy to do. Let's make this fit to our timeline. We'll start from the beginning, and we're right in the middle of the tree, about right there. And we'll move this down and bring in a keyframe. Now I'm doing this fast. I'm going to jump cut this big time. Slide it over. Slide it down, add another keyframe, slide it over, slide it down, and I'm being really rough with this. Add another keyframe, add another, and you can see our dots showing the keyframes there. And that's really rough, but I just want to give you an idea how this will work. Played it back, it will be like this. We converted that from a 16:9 to a 9:16, and we're able to create some movement there in keyframing. And I'm sure there are other ways out there. Okay, let's move on. Here's one way to create a 4x4 video. I brought in 4 videos. I create a new track, actually 2. Insert, video track. Then we can drag these up and bring these over. Bring this down to about right here and press Shift plus R as in red. Delete the excess right here. These are 4 files. Grab transform, and I'm going to drop it on each clip. Now what I want to do is have these in order. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to bring them up the same order. 1, 2, 3, 4. Otherwise, I'll be confused. Right, so let's go with this one first. Let's disable all of these. This is 1920 by 1080. If I divide that by 4, I have 960 by 540. Go over here. My width here is 1920 by 1080. Change this to 960. I like to edit fast, so I'm going to highlight that and press Ctrl or Command C to copy it. Type this in, 540. Enter. Pops up right there. Disable that one. Enable the second one. Do the same thing. And this one goes down here to the bottom. Now enable all of them. And then we can just move them around based on these numbers here. I'm not going to be perfect here, but I know this is number 3. This is why you want to make sure they're in order. Because now I'm going to do number 4. And that's not perfect, but I think you get the point. But this is what that will look like. So I brought in 2 of the same videos. Didn't mean to do that. I meant to bring in this one. But anyway, that's how that works. And it works with any 4x4. You just want to make sure everything's lined up correctly. Let's move on. This is one way we can create 4x4 multi-screen videos. Let's move on to our next tip, which will be how to create a 3x3 video. If you want to create a 3x3 multi-screen video, One way to do that is to drop down the crop tool and crop it into a 3x3. Go up here to effects, click on effects, type in crop, and you'll see this crop and padding, crop scale. We'll drop that on each video clip. Go up here to the top. What we can do here is crop this. Now it's 1920 by 1080. Just flip those numbers. So type in 1080 by 1920. Press enter. And you're going to get this. Hold Control or Command, scroll down on the mouse, grab an edge, and take it up. Like that, and then scroll back up. And you can play with that because it's in transform mode. The width on this, I want to make this 640 by 1080. And these numbers will tell you exactly where you are in terms of the border. You can see the red numbers flashing there. So they all should be 640 by 1080, but the canvas is going to be 1920 by 1080. And what you want to do is basically do the same thing that I did for this video clip for all video clips. So you can disable this one. And now you're just working with this one. Click on this one and do the same thing. So here's my width, here's my height, same thing. So this is going to be 640 by 1080. Press enter. Scroll out. Same thing here. Change it to 640. And that's it. Now you're going to grab it and move it to the third position. Let's enable these. Let's click on number 2. Slide that over a little bit. That's about right. It's not perfect. We can also, with the padding, create a border and do different things with the padding. We can do different things with the padding. I'm not trying to be perfect here, just give you an idea how to create a 3x3 and a 4x4 multi-screen video. Okay, let's move on. Let's put together a simple compilation about autumn. So I brought in some autumn looking type of videos. I brought in a song from Epidemic Sound. Okay, I finished this little quick video. It's not much. I just want to show you how to render. Press Control or Command plus Enter to bring up the render menu. Click on More Options here, and now we have everything. And just choose your options, MP4, include audio, render to file, and let that render. That's how you render. That's how you use this program. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, please leave them below. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until we meet again, have a great and creative day. Thanks for watching. Peace.